Which is good thing we've got you here, Ale.
All right.
We're talking some Bundesliga.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking some Bundesliga. And
Super.
specifically, Thomas Muller. The Vancouver Whitecaps are closing in on a deal to sign the former Bayern Munich and Germany star. His discovery rights, and this is very important, are currently owned by FC Cincinnati, who the player rejected earlier this year. Muller racked up, 12 league titles, 250 goals, and 756 appearances over 17 Bundesliga seasons with Bayern Munich. All right, let's hope the tech works for our next guest. He is Derek Ray. There he is, joining us. Who else would you want to talk all things Bundesliga? All right, Derek, I was just looking at the stats, just the 1 goal in league play last year for Thomas Muller. How much gas left in his tank as he makes the move to Major League Soccer?
I think still plenty, to be honest, Sebi. When you look at Thomas Muller and you think back to the end of last season, it was very emotional. I was lucky enough to be in Munich commentating on the night when he said goodbye to the public at the Allianz Arena. We were all hoping that he would add to his total for the season, which, as you said, was 1 in the Bundesliga. And I think, to be honest, it's a slight surprise that he's going to carry on. And I say that because I know he wrestled with the decision and nobody was entirely clear what he was going to do. But it has emerged in the last few days that, yeah, he sees his future in North America. I'm not sure until the other day too many had it that he would be heading to Canada to play for Vancouver. But fair play to the Vancouver Whitecaps for making that happen. It appears it's going to happen. And clearly it's an attractive world-class city. Personally, I'm a bit surprised that we haven't seen big-name players heading to Vancouver before, because it is one of the great cities to live in North America. And we shall see. You know, I think that's the great unknown with Thomas Muller as he heads towards 36 is what exactly will he be able to contribute in a team where he will be the undoubted star? I mean, they haven't signed him for any other reason. And yeah, you know, latterly with Bayern, we spoke about having petrol in the tank. You know, he was a bit part player, not somebody who was playing regularly, but coming on as a substitute and still making a contribution. So I think it's a bit of a lifestyle move for him. I think he wanted to try something else. I think the fact that Vancouver is going to be a key venue come the World Cup next year is exciting for him. I will say that I'm not sure Bayern, his old club, and of course he is a Bayern legend, I'm not sure they're entirely thrilled because they really wanted him to go to LAFC, with whom they have a partnership.
Interesting. The dreaded lifestyle move, Ale. What kind of impact do you think Vancouver's going to get from Thomas Muller? Been 5 years since I think he had double-digit assists, 4 years since he had double-digit goals.
So I know for a fact that he's going to bring personality to Major League Soccer. So that in itself is something different. Sometimes when you consider us talking and discussing and covering Major League Soccer, one of the things that really comes up is who are the personalities within this league? Who are the players that you can rally around? And once you go beyond Messi, and not because of his personality, but because of he is Lionel Messi, then after that you start searching and you start looking for outspoken players that will voice their opinions, players that will have an opinion about everything and anything that there is to talk about. And in the case of Thomas Muller, not only does he have the opinions, but he has the opinions of somebody who has won everything there is to win and comes with great pedigree and great experience. And so there's no question that, as Derek has called him many times and was well known in Bundesliga, Radio Müller is coming to Major League Soccer. And Major League Soccer, I think, and the Vancouver Whitecaps would be well served in exploiting that part of who he is and what he is, because he does it naturally. In terms of what he brings on the field, tremendous intelligence to play the game, but the legs are not quite there. So we're at this point in his career in which he's going to need pieces around him to take advantage of what his skill set is. And that, I think, is the most important part of what Thomas Muller can or may not bring to Major League Soccer, and whether fans are going to be able to ascertain and figure out the nuances of his game. He's not a tremendous dribbler. He's not an aesthetically pleasing player. But he's a player with tremendous intelligence. with great vision, good movement, tremendous feel for the game. He's going to find himself in positions where the ball somehow drops to him and he's going to be able to score a tap-in. But is that the style of player that makes people watch the Vancouver Whitecaps, get behind the Vancouver Whitecaps? That's a different conversation. If you put enough players around Thomas Muller and allow him to go find the game and feel the game the way he has done over the course of his career, then I think this will be a hit for the Vancouver Whitecaps. If you try to define his position and try to figure out he's going to be our forward, or he's going to be our number 10, or he's going to be this, or he's going to be that, I think you limit him. At this point in his career, Thomas Muller, got to give him the freedom to go and find the game. And if the Vancouver Whitecaps are willing to do that, then you'll take advantage of what he is right now.
Right now, Herc, they're second in the Western Conference. Right now, do you think Vancouver's a MLS Cup contender?
No.
Without him?
No.
Okay, with him, are they?
Maybe. Let me just start off by
For a
congratulating.
DP player, isn't that? Wouldn't you want him to take you over the hump?
Maybe. I'll explain. Let me start off by congratulating Cincinnati, FC Cincinnati, on the scouting. That's amazing. They discovered Thomas Muller. Yeah. And got 400, whatever funny money that is out of that. That's amazing scouting from their part.
400 grand apparently
400,
is what it's going to cost Vancouver.
I'm not an expert, but is that sarcasm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you.
What was
Got
it? What was it? Radio Muller, you said?
Radio Muller.
Radio Muller.
Look, if you're not going to speak German, don't be part of this.
Well, Radio
Derek
Muller.
Ray.
Derek's here, I'm here, you know, I mean, what's the difference?
I'm trying to fit in here. This club, Vancouver, for the longest time, was a forgotten franchise within Major League Soccer. They're trying to actively sell this team. And yet here you have the Bad News Bears, a team that doesn't spend, with a coach who's very unknown, Jasper Sorensen. They come in and make it to the CONCACAF Champions Cup final. And sure, they lost, right? And sure, some of these players aren't spectacular, but this is a very fun team to watch at times. This is a very intelligent team. I see the way Sebastian Berhalter is in the middle. I see players like Brian White, who's very much like you said, doesn't dribble, he's not fast, he's very intelligent, just finds ways. Well, Thomas Muller is going to fit right in. They've got speed on the outsides. They got hardworking players. He fits in perfectly with that personality. I think Vancouver, he's going to love the Pacific Northwest. We all know what that's about. That's going to be a home run for him there. But in terms of making this team competitive, he gives them the intelligence that they don't, the experience that they don't have, and maybe a little bit of that championship fever rubs off on these players. We're talking about a player with over 200 assists, 200 goals. We're talking about a player who's won Champions League multiple times, a player who's won the World Cup. He's been there, he's done that, and yet he was never aesthetically pleasing. I do think he's going to help this team. Is he going to help him in the way a DP should help a Major League Soccer team? No, because he's not going to be the player where fans are going to fill up the stadium to watch him play. Those are very few DPs that exist within Major League Soccer, but he's going to be a player that helps this team win. Will he have the legs to play a 34-game season and be effective every single game? I don't think so. I don't think so at BC Place. You know what it's like playing there. I think that's going to be an issue for him.
Say it, turf.
Not just any turf. Not just any turf.
Right.
We're talking Piñata grass turf. We're talking about the old turf. We're talking about a very difficult stadium to play against. But I think he's going to help this team.
Are you surprised, given that he chose Vancouver and not Cincinnati, which we know was like the other option? Cincinnati has like a little bit more of a track record of winning. They don't play on turf. I mean, to me, when you applaud
Am I surprised that he chose Vancouver over
when you're
Cincinnati?
saying you applaud Vancouver, to me, I'm surprised that Vancouver pulled this off, and I'm kind of surprised he wouldn't.
I don't
have taken
think
the
Cincinnati
option.
could have pulled it off. I don't think Cincinnati had
a good faith intention with him.
No, had the viable options to actually make him a DP when they needed to make. I don't think it.
I mean,
he's
a TAM here. He's a TAM here for the rest of the season.
What I'm trying to say is, I think Vancouver could make it work with the terms that they were looking for. I don't think Cincy does. This isn't a knock on Cincy. Cincy is an incredible footballing town, and they've proven it since their short span in Major League Soccer. Even when they weren't winning, the fans were coming out. It felt like the culture was there. I think Vancouver is one step away from being that type of place. I think Vancouver, given the right investment, given the right pieces, can reinvigorate the people in or around that area. And he's a very good signing. And we all know how beautiful Vancouver is. When you come and play Major League Soccer as a player that's done it all, won it all at that age, there are certain things you're coming for. And I don't think the footballing aspect is number one.
Last word?
All I would say is, in appreciating Thomas Muller, you have to appreciate the nuances of his game. And being able to figure that out, being able to see what is it that he does, the little movements, the little 5-yard sprint here, little 5-yard sprint there, so that he can get himself in front of the defender so that then he can find the next pass or score the tap-in. Those nuances to his game, not everybody actually not only appreciates it, but understands it and is able to process and digest that information. Thomas Muller is not a guy that jumps out at you. You have to know what you're looking at. But if you know it and you appreciate it and you take it all in and you welcome him with open arms, he can be a very good signing for Vancouver.
The reported salary certainly jumps out at you. Apparently $7.5 million, what he'll be making next year, again on a TAM deal for around $600,000 for the rest of 2025.